One of the more underrated cinematic universes that I feel like it's overlooked. In the world of MCUs, in the world of DCEUs, now transitioning to DCU, in the world of Pooniverses, we have the MonsterVerse. And the MonsterVerse, believe it or not, is a decade old. I mean, the first one, 2014's Godzilla, kicked off the whole thing. We just finished off with Godzilla X Kong. And the MonsterVerse is doing pretty well. I mean, the fact that Godzilla X Kong opened to $80 million opening weekend was way beyond the box office projections projections. Sorry, the projections of like 65 million or 55 to 65 million that it was. It made 80. It completely surpassed its projections, and the people over at the MonsterVerse, over at Legendary, are pretty thrilled, rightfully so, and they ain't planning on stopping anytime soon. So this comes to us from the Hollywood Reporter, and they had to say, jaws dropped at Legendary and Warner Brothers when Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire opened to $80 million in North America over Easter weekend, despite getting shredded by critics. It wasn't quite double what tracking services had predicted, but close enough. And by day 10, its global cume had hit an impressive $361.1 million as it stayed atop the chart. So what next? This is certainly an exciting result, says Mary Parent, chairman of worldwide production for Josh Grode's Legendary. Grode's company is an inviolable winning streak. Between this film and early March blockbuster Doom Part 2, we are in a good position to continue the journey. But let's see how Godzilla X Kong unfolds, Parent says. These are early days, but we are certainly feeling good. All right, so that comes to us from the Hollywood Reporter. And look, I mean, you can't deny what the MonsterVerse has done here. I mean, the fact that the cinematic universe itself has lasted a decade. I mean, not everyone gets there. Dark Universe, anybody? The Sony Marvel universe is looking a little on the rocks, a little iffy, you know what I mean? But they made it. They made it a decade. And why don't you continue? Why don't you continue with Godzilla and Kong movies? And Adam Wingard, the one who directed both Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla X Kong, has already expressed interest that he wants to do a trilogy. He wants to do another one. He wants to do one more focused on Godzilla, because Godzilla's kind of been in the back seat in a lot of his movies up until this point. The question, two questions really. Do I want them to continue with the MonsterVerse? And what should they do to keep this MonsterVerse longevity going? Because first of all, to answer the first question, I have enjoyed the MonsterVerse for the most part. The only one that I would say I flat out just didn't like was Godzilla King of the Monsters. That one just didn't really gel with me. But I really enjoyed Godzilla 2014. I thought Kong Skull Island was such a blast. I enjoyed Godzilla vs. Kong. And Godzilla X Kong, I had such a blast. I had such a huge smile on my face the entire time during that movie. These movies, they're just big, they're just dumb. They give us monster action. They know exactly what the audience wants. So yeah, I'm down for some more. The question with the longevity, though, is how long can you milk Kong and Godzilla? Because those are really the only faces of their MonsterVerse at this moment. And I do think that there's going to come a point, and you can argue that there's not going to come a point because Godzilla has like 33 films in his own franchise alone, and audiences still love Godzilla. But I do think there's going to come a point in this MonsterVerse where Godzilla, Kong, they're not going to be enough. And I do think that the MonsterVerse is going to have their Avengers level moment where they have a bunch of monsters come together to fight some kind of threat. And that's something that the old Godzilla films, the ones that I've seen, did do, is they would bring other monsters from other franchises into the mix. You'd have Godzilla team up with his friends to take down some threat, whether it be aliens, whether it be a bigger monster. And that's definitely something that I think the MonsterVerse is going to have to do moving forward. Because, yeah, Kong, awesome. Godzilla, awesome. Probably never going to get tired of them. But this pairing, eventually the excitement and the event of it all is going to wear down. Now, they've already introduced some monsters. They've already got a Mothra in here. If you watched Godzilla King of the Monsters, they had Ghidorah introduced in that one too. If they can find a way to take these monsters and do something of their own, do their own story, make a Mothra solo movie, make a Ghidorah movie, and do something where you expand this even more beyond Kong, beyond Godzilla, I do think that there could be a lot of life left in the MonsterVerse. I think that they could keep going for another 10 years. there is something about their blockbuster making that isn't so easy to get anymore. Like, yeah, you got the superhero films, yeah, you get the big action films, but big giant kaiju titan monsters fighting on screen, this is really the only universe that is providing that to the extent that it is. So I think the MonsterVerse definitely has earned and deserves all of its success that it's gotten, despite some of its lows and its highs. I think they're off to a really good start, and I think that this franchise has a lot more to go. So I'm with them on this. It's looking very good. Let's keep it going. Well, thank you very much for checking out this clip from our live show that we do every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time called Zach Milne Talks Live. If you like talking movies, if you like talking movie news, why don't you consider hitting that subscribe button before you leave? We do that on this channel all the time. But if you still need some time before you fully commit, you can check out the full video this clip is from right here, and you can check out another video over here. The subscribe button's right here.